All right, guys, you're on film.
Okay.
And gals. All right.
Take it away, Don.
Good morning, everyone. First item is the temporary two pieces of fence for Century Boulevard, south side. We have two proposals, one from Martin Fence Company, one from Budget Fencing Gate. Martin came in low at $34.91 plus cost of permit. Someone asked me at a previous meeting whether Budget Fence had included permits. I think I misspoke. That does not include permits, so that's extra on either one. Next two pages are the plans from our engineer, Derek, and these will go in with the permit application and the contractor will put in for that.
There's an exclusion that says this quote does not include removal.
Well, there is no removal.
There's nothing to
We're
remove.
putting something up,
Yeah.
Fresh. Just to remind you, what's going on here is we're going to be filling in the two empty spaces along the fence. The pieces will be overlapped somewhat on either side to make, and as close as possible without physically touching the fence. Both vendors have been informed of that.
David has a question.
Parenthetical comment. I can understand engineering reports and drawings. Let's say we're rebuilding the Grand Coulee Dam. But for 200 feet of chain link fence, it's egregious. It really is egregious.
Well, given the sensitive place where this fence is and our previous interactions with the neighbor, we really wanted to do this by the numbers.
So now, there's a question of where the fabric goes. Our side, their
Our
side.
side, yeah,
So
our
we
side.
go on our side?
That would make more room between him and us,
Mm-hmm.
right?
But now, when you tie off the fabric,
Right.
usually on the other side, he's not gonna allow us to.
Well, there's gonna be no top rail. There's only going to be a
So it's
coil.
basically a construction.
A construction fence, yeah.
Just as.
And that was mostly to keep the price down.
Mhm.
There's just no need for a top rail on something that may last.
Do we have to punch through concrete?
Yes, and that's included in here. He'll have to core drill through the existing slab.
Which is gonna narrow the sidewalk.
Yes,
I mean, we can do this though without jackhammering it, can't we? We can
no, it's a core
drill.
drill, yeah.
Okay.
That kind of brought up the price on both sides, cause basically you wear out a core drill when you do it.
It says
Derek?
right on here, core drill is needed, fence must not touch neighbor's fence.
Derek doesn't seem to think we're gonna need to widen because we're gonna put it in as a temporary fence. So we'll put it through and see how it goes.
Did I just hear we don't have permits yet?
Permits will be applied for by the vendor. I have a application in, using Dom's drawings, and I don't know if we could piggyback on that, I'll find out when we do it.
I just wonder if they'll allow it.
I'd like to save the cost of the
Widening.
It's such a Rube Goldberg.
Right.
You know?
yeah,
There's the occasion there for a code violation on the width of the walkway.
Exactly.
As long as they know it's temporary, maybe they won't be as upset as they would normally.
that's what Derek seemed to think.
So let's see how they respond to it.
Sure,
Temporary construction.
and that's construction fence is
6
temporary.
years.
Alright,
They have so much on their plate they probably won't remember anyway.
anyway, all things being equal, Martin Fence was slightly lower than Budget Gate and Fence, our usual vendor. Martin does work for WPRF and we can rely on that.
Don, I see that on the quotes here that Martin Fence says that they're going to put a concrete end post. I don't see that on the proposal from Budget Fence, nor do I see
I don't know how
on
they would
Martin
do
Fence
that.
that they're even gonna do core drilling.
Like, I don't see how they would be able to put concrete base if they're core drilling through a slab, right?
Well, Martin doesn't even say that they're gonna core drill anything.
That's their only option, right?
They think there's not enough dirt, there's not enough.
No,
space.
no, there's not.
No,
They'll have to at the very least nip off one edge of it. If not, just go right straight in.
Well, if you're putting in concrete end posts, you're gonna have at least a 1 foot round
Right, so
hole.
I just don't think that's feasible for this. I think it's gonna be driven
If
straight
the
into.
core is the right size, can't the end post just go into it?
Yeah, the slab would hold it. I mean, we're not talking about
I'd
something that,
crack it, but,
I mean, you core drill the slab is
right.
3-4 inches thick. I can't imagine that that wouldn't be enough. What do you think?
Do you think they
It'd
could,
be a
they could
collar.
add a diagonal brace on it? To keep it from drifting?
Let's see what it looks like. when you put it in.
Uh,
No, you know what I do, I go and give it a shake, and if I don't like the way it looks, we'll figure
Well,
something
that's
out.
just gonna happen.
Right.
Because some of the folks en route and egressing from Shul, if they're unstable,
They'll touch it.
they
They'll
grab
grab
that
the fence.
fence.
Yeah.
Sure.
I also see a problem at the bottom of the fence too, just like you were saying, someone grabbed one of the wheelchairs or motor scooters, gets hit on that, and now we have pieces of fence sticking out from the bottom. That could create a hazard
See,
as
all these
well.
things you're bringing up, it depends how beady-eyed the code is. Now, I doubt they're gonna come out, but they may see this in the
Yeah.
drawing.
Sure.
And this may be an issue. I'd be amazed if we get a permit on this. Cause it's just Rube Goldberg, it's just.
No permit, no job, so, no spend.
Well, you know what the quid pro quo is? You know, you wanna give this guy a formal drainage easement? He'll do anything for it.
I don't think you're doing that today.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go back to what David said earlier.
Yeah.
I think the price is phenomenal for what it is. And to be honest with you, I don't know how much of a problem that really is security wise.
They park one of their cars right in front of it, don't they?
On a Saturday,
One of the
sure,
openings,
you
yeah.
do, yeah.
You're talking about security?
Yeah.
That's at a gate, that's not a section that's open though. The opening's here and the
They're
opening's
inside the
here.
gate? Okay.
Yeah, it's right across the guard station, so it's fenced in.
Yeah, you know, I can only relate, and it really is watermelons and peaches. Up north, I fenced in an acre, 6 feet of chain link fence. All the poles in concrete. So what's an acre? 220 by 220 nominal?
Mhm.
So 2, 4, 6, 800 feet of fence, sunk in concrete, top rail, everything,
How much?
for just shy of 3K. That's a long time ago, I understand, Maryland, I can't believe the prices are that different. But time, I guess, is important. I think the price is incredible for 200 feet of fence. And I dare say there are some younger folks in this village who could string that fabric.
It's been my assumption that a 6-foot fence is $10 a lineal foot.
Oh, at
So
least.
that'd put us at $2,100.
Well, I would have thought, well, a full up fence with top rails
Yeah,
and bottom rails. I mean, the last time I looked, it was 30 something, a foot,
So that's where we are then.
very expensive.
Looks like 1660 linear foot for the low bid.
But once again, this is temporary fencing as well, not a real,
Yeah, but it buys you some time.
yeah.
The county's gotta come out with a complete list of what they expect you to do.
And I agree. The outer one, I don't even think there's a point of discussion. There is no security issue there.
I live closer to that section than anybody here does. I live over in Waltham. And I just don't physically see it.
Yeah, the inner one, you know, you gotta hypothesize that someone comes at night and creeps around the bush and that the guards aren't gonna see them. Well, maybe they won't, maybe they will. Well, very unlikely.
Once again, though, this is all contingent upon passing code. And so I think if we took a shot at it,
Yeah.
and see if it's permittable, then make a decision, that
You
might
know-
satisfy everybody,
The only thing that's driving me on this
is the
is
price.
that nonsense, oh yeah, well,
Yeah,
is that nonsense at delegate assembly where Glusac gets up. And, you know, you think it was a breach, in the wall of China or something, you know?
I mean, there is some,
And it's not, really,
there is some community concern, we do hear
of
about it
course
quite a
there
bit.
is, that is.
They're
the
worried
point.
about it, whether it's a real worry or not
Yeah.
is something we need to decide.
And it may get a lot worse when seasons are here.
Yeah.
There's more idiots looking to come in and pickpockets.
Yeah.
This buys us some time for the bigger job.
That's the best way to scare our people, is to get up at delegate assembly and start cooking up threats to your security. Right
I've never
after-
seen anyone walk and I've heard of it, but I've never seen it myself.
Well, I'm not over there.
Yeah, but if you're gonna do it, it's not when there's 30 guards on duty, it's when there's 3.
Right.
Right, of course.
And the guy's sitting here looking at IDs when they leave, he's busy doing that, he's not able to see across the street, it's dark, there's no lights on.
Right.
So they could walk right up to that spot and you wouldn't even know they'd been there.
And
And that's what you're looking to put a curb on until we come up with a resolution long term.
and on that, just an update on the big job, the elevations have been done, survey has done his work. Derek is progressing on getting a final plan together for the big job, the sidewalk, the whole fence. I don't have a time frame on that.
So do we pass this on contingents that we get the permit, or do we just?
Well, obviously, it's contingent on getting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know.
So they become the villain, not us.
That's
If-
right.
If we're going to ask and then ignore them, that won't work out too well.
So we made a motion to move forward to obtain a permit. That would be the way to see if we can get this done for this pricing.
Well, today is selecting a vendor, or not, you could just table,
Yeah.
not do that,
Well,
but
let's talk about selecting the one that you prefer of the two.
Because the vendor's gonna get
And
the
use
permit.
that as the guy to go get the permit, if he gets turned down, then we're not wasting any
then we'll know
money.
what's what.
If he gets approved, then we can have a meeting and say, go for it.
What's the exact wording of the motion?
And
To
Are
accept-
we proceeding with this contingent upon a permit
Yeah,
with the lower price bid?
To accept Martin Fence for $3,491 plus cost of permit, contingent on getting a permit and officer's approval.
Yeah.
Alright,
he's able to make the motion.
no, I just phrased it, someone's gotta make it.
I'll make it.
Yes.
I started out making it, that's what I was
Okay.
looking to
No,
say.
no, no, no.
You can put it in my name if he's not.
Can't put it in my.
Okay, so Ed Black made
Yeah,
a
I'm the
motion.
one that started the process, so.
Okay, and who seconds?
It doesn't, I'll do it.
John Gregg, with 3 Gs.
You got it.
His wife wants to be included.
You got it.
Okay, and let's, David Israel.
Yeah, but before we do the vote,
Discussion.
I have no problem about going with Martin Fence but I'm concerned about their statement of concrete end post only. You know, I don't see how they don't show anything about coring on here, like they do with budget fence.
So we need clarification.
We have to, you know,
If he gets approval for permit, Donald will already have that figured out.
Yeah,
Cause that's lacking
Yeah, but the-
clarity and I don't understand
Yeah.
how.
but the price might not be the same either.
That's true, so
No,
we may
talking
wind up
about-
going to the other guy, but this is based on cost. We're picking the lower of the two to go get a permit.
Yeah.
All right,
Let's see what the
You
permit.
know, he raises a point. This guy's approach might be to jackhammer out a chunk,
Yes.
18 by 18 by 18,
can't do that.
pour hydrocrete, put in the post, and in essence, rebuild the sidewalk.
Sure.
And price may go up under those conditions.
Whereas Budget Gate and Fence for $300 and some more, they clearly are going to core drill and told me so in person, so I'm more sure of how Budget is going to do the job
Stick
because
the posts into the hole.
Because I've had this vendor on that site already 5 times already, because we've gone over and over with this. Martin was when I was directed to get a second bid, Martin came in. I have to tell you, I am more confident with budget and how they're gonna do the job, only because I've been out there with Bob already so many times. He's going to core drill and he's gonna sink right into the dirt.
Any chance
Once
of getting
again,
a
once
permit?
again, shall we wait and see what the county says that we should be doing?
Correct.
If they accept the cheaper job with just
Yeah,
punching holes and whatever, then.
I mean, it would be the vendor that goes for this permit, not me.
Right.
But he could also be restricted to what he could do with a post because he's not able to make a hole 2 feet
Correct,
wide without extending
Yeah.
walkway. So that may help guide you as to who the better bidder is gonna be.
Yeah.
We can refine that after we see there's a permit available.
Sure,
See, that's the problem in dealing with code. If you make what they term a significant change,
Right.
and the whole damn thing has to be brought to current code. God forbid that should happen. What's current code, 4 feet, 5 feet?
5 feet.
5 feet.
Big bucks.
And you're pushed into the big project, and God knows how much money. Be $250,000 very easily.
But we can't do it without a fence first.
I kind of would
Yes.
prefer the approach of clarifying this other bid before we jump into the quagmire. So it's up to you guys.
How much does a permit cost?
$250, I believe.
It's not the cost, it's the time and the element, them coming out to look at it, them getting back to whether you're gonna get one.
No, I don't think they come out to look at it. I think that's all done in-house.
If they're gonna put a post and jackhammer of an area, they may.
What's gonna happen is the building department's gonna look at the engineer's specs. That's what's gonna drive whether you get the permit or not. Not what the, not these sketches.
No.
These are for us.
So were you gonna be safer using the first proposal you have, which is a little higher, and using the guy that wants to drill?
I would be more confident with budget grip defense.
Then let's go that route, and see if he can get the permit. Cause I'm a little concerned with what's gonna take in the way of their response to drilling a hole big enough to put a post.
And given the ambiguity in the Martin fence proposal and, you know, an insignificant $300, but
$250.
There's a motion on the table.
So we want to
It's being
change the
refined.
motion, change the
Being
wording,
refined, okay.
refine the word from Martin to budget,
Yes.
and that should make it simple, well,
Sounds like an easy change to me.
There we go.
Yeah, one name, don't kill anything.
Same number of letters.
and budget is
Didn't mention
budget is the contractor that I work with on an almost weekly basis here,
Mhm.
and I have a relationship with the actual guys doing the work. It tends to come out okay.
I think, Dominic, given the plan to core within an inch of the edge of that slab,
Mhm.
it's gonna crack.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely could happen.
So they're gonna be putting in some new concrete anyway, unless, well, temporary fence, you might be able to live with it just being in the dirt.
well, let's see what the county says. So shall we move forward?
Yeah, call a vote.
Okay, so,
Thanks for, I just didn't feel confident with it.
No, that's,
so to accept the budget fence contingent upon permit, right? Okay. David Israel,
Yes,
Ed Black,
Yes.
David Boaz,
Yes.
Stuart Richland,
Yes.
Diana Rose.
Yes.
Herb isn't here, Don Bonaji, yes. Hayward
Yes.
and John Bragg.
Yes.
Votes anonymously unanimous.
alright. Next item, what do we got?
Next item is your,
Generators?
Yeah,
Okay.
the generator.
What happened to you?
Not here.
Come on, come.
Okay. Okay, next item up is emergency generator propane powered for the Haverhill Guardhouse. Currently, we have our guardhouses powered with gasoline portable generators. They work fine. two problems. One is 6-hour life on the fuel tanks, which means I get up every 6 hours during a blackout and refuel these things. Second thing is handling of gasoline, which is dangerous. Propane generator would run this house as this building runs. When there's a blackout, the machine would turn on seamlessly, and I would imagine at least a week on 500 gallons, if not more.
Oh, yeah. They got very little power draw over there. What do they draw?
There's one other caveat.
Yeah, 6-7K.
Gasoline is a contaminant. If the tank should rupture, now we have to dig down to
No, it's
hell.
propane.
No, this one-
No, that's what I'm
Well, the
saying,
little
rather
tank.
rather than staying with gasoline, the
Yeah.
propane is the better of the two fuels.
One of these vendors brought up the possibility of diesel. He seemed to favor diesel, and
But once again, you're still
Still
dealing with
contaminant.
yeah,
petroleum
I've got to deal with the fuel treatment. I've got to deal with polishing, water separators. A lot of work for Donald.
And the smokers,
Yeah, well, no, diesel, I'm not so worried about
Yeah.
that, but storing diesel long-term, especially in a humid environment, could be problematic. This thing worked like a charm. I was. We have two bids, one from Assurance Power Systems and the other from Personalized Power Systems. The second bid is the one who put in our generator here. And except oddly enough, he spec'd in a Briggs and Stratton generator, where for this building, he put in a Generac. And the other guy put in for Generac. To me, it's Ford and Chevy. Pick 'em.
They both include the transfer switch.
Yes. This is the complete job. Excavation, putting in the permits, yes. Putting in the tank, running the wiring, installing the generator.
So the tank is not gonna be above the ground, it's gonna be buried.
There's a map.
Yeah, no, I see where it shows.
Yeah, it's gonna be,
the tank.
yeah, it's gonna be buried there,
But I mean,
underground.
that's, there's a potential if it was above the ground, people making a U-turn.
Yeah.
in the
No.
tank,
No,
yeah.
no, we don't
But
want
it's gotta
that.
be,
There's a lot before they get to that thing based on what's in place.
Now, as far as what the gasoline portable generator we have there now, what I would do with that was bring it over to the Okeechobee gate. That would allow me to have two generators at this one, and I'd be able to fuel a cold generator and let the hot one run and then swap out. I'm still on a 6-hour cycle, but
At least you don't have to worry about flame striking as much.
this year I'm advertising for a volunteer who's trustworthy and can be trained and could let me get an 8-hour rest. I was a zombie by after the last
Sounds
one.
like you're it, Diana.
Yeah,
I can do it. I'm up all hours of the night, anyway.
yeah, if you could spell me and you know,
Really?
yeah, no, seriously.
You think I could do
What
it?
do you think, I'm afraid of a girl doing it? No, I'll show you how to do it, it's
Oh,
easy.
okay.
I've got a funnel this big and what I want to avoid with having two generators running is I never have to fuel a hot generator.
is this
Right.
the second bid right here?
But that's past
Oh,
that.
okay.
So anyway, yeah, two bids, one is for $20,000, $347. The other is for $16,900 for the Briggs and Stratton. The scopes are pretty much the same.
$5,000 difference.
different.
Yeah.
That's as far as looking at.
I would have guessed that the Briggs would have been a more expensive unit.
What's the capacity of the generator?
20 and 19. They're both,
19 kilowatt
I thought that was spec,
for a little shack?
yeah.
Did
I
anyone-
thought-
Did anyone
$5,000
actually
pounds.
look?
They both did the same load tests. So they used this, I'm assuming the same man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Even with air conditioning, I don't believe it.
I mean, a 20
$4,000 difference.
kilowatt unit is like for a 2,000 square foot house.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a little high, but they must have both used the
What's
same.
that, a 400 square foot?
Yeah,
garden shack?
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, but you got a lot of electric being used.
Not 20 kilowatt, you know?
I didn't say that, I think they do have a lot, but
We're running this whole building on a 26
26,
kilowatt machine.
right.
And 19 people in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did question that and they both seemed, I know they build in They build in extra, that's what they do.
So you think it's overkill?
Can someone be asked to,
Reevaluate?
to recalculate this, who doesn't have an iron in the fire,
You know, it turns out we have someone on staff,
okay?
Marcel Corman can do this for us,
Okay.
alright?
To compute the actual load over there, I just don't see it. What do you got, 3 computers?
Right,
You got an air conditioner?
air conditioner, lights,
Some lights?
Refrigerator, water.
I'd be surprised if that whole building pulls 5 kilowatt.
one of the vendors did say that the difference in price to go down to the next lowest, which I thought was 10, he didn't seem to think it would be cost effective. It wouldn't knock the price down that much. I just kinda listened and
One thing to think about, if I'm wrong, you can tell me. Here we have a closed envelope, they're opening the door, they've got AC running 24/7.
Oh, yeah, that's the other
So
thing.
Plus
that-
all the gate
that
arms
may affect,
and,
I don't
and those
know.
mechanisms to lift them too. Those things run almost constantly.
Also, another question was raised about fumes, which is something to think about.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, a propane unit doesn't put out the same fumes as a gasoline unit. But the air conditioning is what makes that a non-issue, because you're creating, is it positive or negative? You're gonna be pushing out air
Yeah.
with the air conditioner on. So if the generator's running, the air conditioner's on, you really have,
Flow.
yeah,
Circulation.
I would make sure code chops off on this. I
yeah.
believe when you burn propane, you produce some nasty byproducts, just like burning gasoline.
Well, it's a byproduct of gasoline manufacture.
Huh?
Propane is a byproduct of
Yeah.
making gas.
I think you wanna make sure, we don't want those kids
Right.
sucking in. And some of these things are cumulative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And odorless,
So a smaller unit is gonna expel less
let's
less
just,
fumes as well, if we
make
can
sure
reduce the
we're-
size.
we're in a good position here.
Well, I mean, code compliance would be the first thing. If we get a
Yeah.
permit, that's your
Right.
first step.
I think it would be nice if it were further away from the building. I think code requires 10 feet.
I mean, on private homes, they're tucked right on,
Right aside of the.
right aside the building, my own house.
So are we tabling this until Marcel checks it out, or?
I would think so.
Some independent person.
Alright.
To calculate what the load is over there.
Okay.
Is it also powering those little LED lights around the palms?
Yes, and all of the lights, the spots, it's not just the guardhouse, it's also
Yeah.
powering the spots,
Gotcha.
the lights.
Okay.
So they factored that in,
I
And
hear
you're
you.
gonna have gate arms that are gonna be swinging
the
over.
gate
too,
arms.
Which is another thing that we haven't done.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Now it's starting to make sense.
That's
Yeah,
why you
no.
may need a larger.
Alright. Alright, what do you guys wanna do?
That's a
Big
question.
ponies.
Just a question about, maybe this is wrong to think about it this way. Since down the road, we're looking at it, maybe a new fence. Are we gonna get in trouble with burying a tank? Should we maybe not think about having an outside tank set there, just in case we would have to do something in the long term? And here we have a tank we paid to bury,
Right,
and now we have to move it.
so you think when the big,
30 feet away, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm just
God,
saying
more
how-
than
Well, it's almost 2.5 car lengths away, two and a half car widths away.
Yeah,
right,
but still,
So you have
You know
two
what?
lanes of traffic right here, and it's far enough away that the doors that open are in the middle of the building.
Yeah.
So the fumes are kind of removed too. And the closer it is to the edge, it's gonna be easier for the guy to park the truck here and load it
Yeah.
whenever he has to put gas in.
I'm thinking about it this way here, if we have to come over further to put the fence
Well,
there,
you will.
might this
But not
tank
that
that we
far.
buried,
No,
You may
Look
lose
at
one of the lanes or half a lane.
I mean, our engineer who's working that big project, I clearly remember him saying this, he doesn't envision any widening of the current swale and that strip.
Right.
Which I see what you're saying.
Or
If-
shrinking
If
the
we had to widen it, we'd have to widen the roadway, and if we widen the roadway, we'd have to skinny the median. I
Okay,
don't-
I mean, if we're sure of this, I don't wanna see us have to
Yeah.
spend money to bury a tank and then.
But no, that
have
question
to
came
dig
up
it
early
again.
on.
We're only talking 12 inches.
Yeah.
We've got a 4 foot
Yeah, yeah,
walk now, we're only gonna go another foot, and I think that there's a distance of about 6 feet
Yes.
to the asphalt.
Right.
So, now you're only 5 feet, you're 5 feet away from the
And
asphalt.
you and I went to see the traffic guy over at the building department. He
Yeah.
saw no issue with that at all.
No,
He said,
no.
it's private road, you can do what you want.
Very
I mean,
good.
these are good questions, though. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I've got no problem, I just don't wanna have to go
Sure.
redig the thing up again if we have a problem with it later on with something else that we're doing.
Now, do we have to consider the height of the exhaust pipe that's gonna,
There is no exhaust pipe.
there is none?
No,
So where are the fumes coming from?
there's a port on one side, a louvered port. That's where they just come out that way.
Alright.
I've seen these units before. If it was a diesel unit, you'd have to have a dry stack.
Yeah.
We're lucky here. It's so far away,
Yeah.
we don't even think about it.
So how do we wanna write the proposal then? Describe the bid.
Shall I?
Or do we want to decide on a vendor first?
Yeah, well, let's look at both of them and
Well, I have sold both Generac and Briggs and Stratton. They're both very reputable.
do
I,
you take my analogy of a Ford and Chevy versus
Ford,
Caddy and Lincoln?
Chevy, exactly,
So
I mean, I have
it
no
comes down to
problem.
dollars and cents, who's the cheaper?
I mean, I would call Kohler and Onan, the Chevy
I
and the
wouldn't-
Lincoln.
Wouldn't be surprised if Briggs and Stratton makes some of the parts for Generac, to be quite honest with you.
And all
Yeah.
those parts come from China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the hardware, to me, doesn't make a difference personally. But I don't see why we couldn't accept the lower bid,
Sure.
especially you said you had history with this company already before.
Yeah, well, they built this for us. They don't maintain our generator room anymore, but they used to, and they did do the installation. Can't argue with success.
PPS.
We didn't have any problem with them when they did all
Not
the,
really.
I mean, I wasn't here for the installation, obviously, but
Yeah.
I'll make a recommendation to go with personalized air conditioning
I'll second that.
for 16.9.
Okay, so
Both this equipment is made in the United States.
Doubtful.
Yeah.
Some of it is.
It's the garbage we send to, used to send to
And I-
China, they make this stuff, wouldn't send it back.
This is not an insignificant question. If you will recall, when Saddam Hussein started launching Scuds into Israel, we were very quick to give them the Patriot
Yeah.
anti-missile system, which never hit a single warning.
The dome.
And not yet.
No, that's.
When they took it apart, it was full of Chinese chips. So our American contractors, saying nothing to the federal government, to the Joint Chiefs of Staff, for the expediency of a few dollars, bought Chinese chips. Needless to say, the Israelis were furious. That's when they built the Iron Dome. And I assure you, there ain't a single Chinese chip in it,
I know
and it never misses.
it. Well, that's because our military meant it.
Donald, we're going with AP.
A lot of people don't know that.
yes, PPS,
PPS?
personalized.
So St. David is undoubtedly right.
I realize that the warranty for APS is 4 years more,
Right.
Yeah, that's not it.
but then it's something, you get a one year free trial, but it's an APS owned product, which means, okay, now you gotta go back to them after that.
You gotta make sure that the thing is maintained properly, it's exercised, or when you need it, it won't work.
As far as maintenance, PPS was our original maintenance company. For price, I found another company that could do the same work for a lot less. The name of the company is the Generator People. they mostly work on boats. But they've been doing good work for us. Every other month, we have a maintenance check, and twice a year, we have a full tune-up. Change the oil, the whole 9 yards. It doesn't go by hours, it goes by time. I'm hearing now that I'm talking to people about these things, is that if we run this thing for 10 days straight, we should do we should shut down and do a tune-up. So if we do get a 2-week outage, I would say after 7 days, we should shut down and schedule a full tune-up.
All right, I'll come back to you with, the only reason that would happen, major storm.
Major storm.
Power's down, these people are gonna be busier than one-armed paper hangers. Are they gonna provide techs to come and do this tune-up?
Well, it's me grabbing a guy by the ear and getting him over here, part of the job, right?
As long as you call him.
Everybody, and you're right, everybody's gonna want the guy, it's a matter of who gets him first.
Part of this also is making sure, if we need it, that we get fuel.
Yeah.
And what we did learn in this last iteration here, this thing literally powering this whole place just sipped.
It sips.
It was incredible. I don't think we got, and they won't even come if unless it's 70% or less. And I think we just got down.
I called Pearl Gas the day after the storm and just scheduled it, and they just laughed at me, they said, you're not gonna need anything, relax, we got you.
They don't fill it above 80% either.
Call
So
the question.
Motion is to accept PPS, AC and electrical services at 16.9.
Second,
I think John Graff seconded and David Boaz made the motion. Okay, here we go. David Israel,
Yes.
Ed Black,
yes.
David Boaz,
Yes,
Stuart Richland,
Yes.
Tom Bonaggio, did I miss anybody? Haywood,
Yes.
John Bragg.
Yeah.
That's it.
And Diana Rose.
Okay, Diana, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So, do we wanna take a look at
WPRF.
WPRF, yeah?
This is the shuffleboard course at the back of the building, right?
I believe so, yeah.
The ones that are not in use.
Correct.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
it's sort of like the lights that aren't in use up there too, that are on every night, but no one uses them.
I know.
Yeah, is that ridiculous? They're on till 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, why do they do
We
that?
should put more, our bill isn't big enough.
Great.
Okay.
So they're gonna they're gonna shut the pickleball court down at Somerset.
Yes, and that'll become another
And then they're gonna
court, yeah.
tear up the regular, the old,
Shuffleboard.
and then put the pickle court over in there.
Pickleball courts there.
Yeah, okay.
We gonna get some blowback from the shuffleboard players?
No, because I think.
No,
they
these are these are
not in use.
non-usable.
No, there's a tier that's in use and a tier that's not in use.
And it's 75,000?
Yeah. The budget, and the one that comes closest is sports services at 74.4.
And,
The other guys are at 89.6, so
is this budgeted?
the budget, it says 75,000.
It's budgeted.
Doesn't mean we have to spend it either.
No,
But I think, in order to do the stuff at Somerset that they wanna do with the tennis courts eventually, they have to do it.
Until
I
we do the
personally
tennis
think-
courts, then we don't have to do a whole lot.
I
do we?
personally think it's a waste of money.
what, the pickleball?
Well, you know, I don't play pickleball.
No,
but
that's the new hot game. so-
I know, they're all out there doing it
Yeah.
now, so.
The,
And that too will wane.
the town where my house is up north put pickleballs in 2 years ago. They're now doubling the courts. They're fighting over the courts. It's the newest thing.
Well, they're fighting
You have a little bit different situation over there, Donald, because people play there all year round. Down here, you never see anybody at the pickleball courts after 2
It's too
o'clock.
hot. What I can.
Oh, no,
what I can
they
do
don't,
about it?
oh, no, they don't play all year round unless they're in
Nobody.
snowshoes.
But during the
No,
season,
but you'll play a longer day,
Yes. It's like
longer hours.
three
in the day.
seasons.
but during the day, during the season, I mean, There's a lot of people there, in the mornings and in the evenings.
8 to 12, maybe 8 to 1.
They've got children playing in it during the day. All right,
Tom,
Yes, sir.
I think, not to be inconsiderate, I think there's a lot of people over in Somerset
Mhm.
who would be very happy to
To see
see
that go.
that pickleball.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Apparently the noise is awful.
Yeah, but then again, I say now you're impacting a larger group at Stratford
right.
and Chatham.
I mean, I can hear the pops on Chatham Isle, I'm sure Ed can, he's closer.
Okay.
Perhaps it should be limited to 8 o'clock at night and that's it, or something, reasonable hour, rather than play
That's
till
when it's
10.
cooler, that's half of why people go later. Now we need lights for that too.
I know it's not pretty, but there are noise abatement pads,
Mhm.
means high fence, not nice to look at.
What's the attraction of this game? Why do people like it? Is it less,
Smaller courts, less running,
Yeah,
less running than tennis?
yeah, it's easier for older people.
and smaller
It's
rackets.
a little like ping pong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Like
no,
paddle-
cross between tennis and ping pong.
When you were growing up, did you ever play paddle tennis?
Yeah, sure,
Well, that's what it is.
played it here.
It's paddle tennis, but smaller
On
courts.
half a court, yeah.
Half court.
Here again, we're trying to spend money for something that they wanna do to make the place better. While we're still living with an air conditioning system that 14 years hasn't been fixed. I think that has to come first, and when it's done, then we can start doing these adjustments they want to expand on something or move something.
I don't understand the air conditioning system up there. One day you go in there, you freeze to death, next day you go in there, it's hot, it's like, well, we're doing this side of the building and not this side of the building. I don't understand that.
Well, you had probably an 85,000 square foot of volume under AC. It's not a true multi-zone system. And until they do that, which means replacing the ducts, because there's very brisk snapping and opening of valves, you're not gonna fix it.
So we just keep piecemeal.
Well, I think we should use the money to fix the building rather than to make beautiful arrangements for a pickleball court.
I do too.
I think we should demand a full-up engineering study.
And get it fixed once and for all.
I bet we put $500,000 or more
Well,
into that AC.
I wouldn't be surprised, but why do we wanna spend this if we're not getting the AC fixed after 14 years?
I mean,
When the hell are we gonna make the building what the building should be? The hell with the plants and these team events where people can play. It's nice to know that they can,
I would say
but if
table
we have
that.
to pay for a building, why are we fixing it up to charge more for us to pay for it?
The only counter I would have to that, and I'm number one with you on prioritization. First things first. But is that AC project something we're gonna do?
I think
Well,
we have to.
Given the money, is it something we're really going to do?
Here's 75,000 to go towards it.
Hey, I'm good.
At the last operations meeting, Ed asked and Dan Cruz said he was gonna bring in a complete plan for the air conditioning at the
It's
next
got a
operations
$30,000 to
meeting.
$30,000 bill to get an engineering study to come up with a complete picture.
Yes, that's what he said.
And I wanna save some money to spend on what he comes up with as an answer. So everything else should be on hold till we get the building up to what it should be.
Yeah, I never pass up an opportunity to make a suggestion. So my suggestion is abandon, don't remove, abandon what's there, put a large trunk in the attic and make drops in the ceiling for the second floor. Bring it down, put soffits along the corridor and
Yes.
blow it into all the rooms.
Yes,
Absolutely,
story.
but that's gonna cost you a lot of money and some of these projects should pay for it.
Oh, no matter what you do is gonna cost a lot of money.
Yeah,
What
but
what they wanna
we-
do is lift up the ceiling and put it up above. Well, now you're involving hundreds of hours of labor for taking the tiles down, putting them back up. Just let it go. Build a sheetrock soffit, frame it, and run your ducts, bing, bang, put put it on common walls and let it go in each
That's right.
direction.
Vent on each side.
Insulate the one in the attic so that the heat in there doesn't affect the
Where's-
efficiency.
Where's your temperature sensor?
There'll be a temperature sensor in every room, because there'll be a modulating valve on the duct.
So one call for service would activate the whole system,
No, every room would have a thermostat,
right?
and it would open and close the valve.
Okay,
And so would
fine.
So a
hallways,
modulating valve in every entity.
same with hallways.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be running in classroom C, keeping that cool and then killing me out the walkway to
Yeah.
get to it, because they should be on their own system.
So in order to cool a
Demand
large,
should
a large
indicate.
room now, they have to freeze a small room because they're using the same volume of air movement.
Right.
Whereas if they use modulating dampers, bing bang boom,
And
you don't have to spend $35,000 to do it.
And before we do the budget this year for this team at WPRF, I think we have to make the point of saying to you, remember 2015 when we were $750,000 lower than we are last year and the year before? Let's take that out, find a way to get rid of that 750. I'm gonna go back to where 15 was. Why did our payments go up 750,000 a year and stay there for 2 years?
Oh, you're talking about the chiller.
Yeah,
Yeah, they pulled them.
that was a
Okay.
fast one, that was a good one.
Yeah, so let's pay for that out of this.
Instead of doing it simply, they went and bought piping from Germany and had to make up elbows and T's and whatever in the field, which really almost doubled the labor costs.
Well, now we have to find a way to get back to the 2015 price and start again.
You'll still be able to use those existing chillers though.
Of course, yeah, because they still use the
And
same, the
they've
same
been doing a
volume
good
of
job.
air, but
Sorry, John.
it'll be portioned properly. Yes, John?
I say we stop all funding to WPRF with
Until-
all these projects, nickel dimes, I don't care what they are, until we get the air conditioner up and running properly.
Do as you wish.
That should be the priority. not
As far as I'm concerned, that's the way it
Not
should
these
be.
kind of things.
So that means we should table the pickleball and have a conference.
I think it's a
You should
good
write-
idea, table it, and let them do what they have to do the right way, once and for all.
And get it over.
And stop coming back to us for nickel and diming every damn little thing they're doing there.
10,000 here, 10,000 there,
No,
30,000 here.
75,000 is now 86,000,
Yeah, yeah.
or 89,000.
But you need to write a well thought out recommendation for the sense of the committee for operations. Because that's where this is gonna be chewed on.
Right.
Extensively. You'll hear from every little country.
Oh, sure.
You're gonna have the tennis people in here again, the pickleball people in here, you're gonna have every Tom, Dick and Harry in here.
Well, that's another matter.
Yeah.
And I would suggest we only allow 3 officers from the tennis club,
Right, instead of a
not
whole room
50
full,
people.
right,
Because
It's the only time you see them anyway.
that's right. They
And
don't
when
come,
you show up to look at IDs, they all go home.
they don't come to they don't come to assembly meetings, so. That's the way I look at it.
That's right, they're never at the delegate assembly. They don't
So we leave this
participate
for
that way,
for
so.
another meeting to be
We
discussed.
have enough in the budget to try and resolve some of the issues.
I mean, we are,
We have to get $200,000 put back in the fund for recovering from storm damage from a hurricane, because they took money out of that fund without authorization. That's gotta be returned. Where are we gonna get that 200,000? Am I spending 75 today?
John?
we are in meetings discussing next year's operations budget.
Right.
So it only stands to reason before we spend another $80,000 or $75,000, we get a clarification on what the hell they're gonna do with the air conditioner next year. Because it's like every year, it's like, oh, we need $60,000 for this. Well, this broke down, so we need $250,000 for this, you know, it's like, it's like a never-ending money pot for them, as far as I'm concerned.
I was under the impression that when the fellow from the WPRF,
Dan Cruz,
Dan?
Dan, he said that they were hiring an engineer to give them a definitive
He did.
outline,
we funded it with 30 grand, he's using that.
Right.
We funded that, we paid
and
a vote
that
on
we
that.
would get a definitive outline of exactly what had to be done and the approximate cost so that we can plan for it. Right now, we have nothing.
Right.
And then they wanna spend $75,000 to fix the pickleboard courts or whatever they're doing here, or whatever they wanna move around, and still we're gonna have to go ahead and spend money. Because somewhere along the line, that we're gonna have people screaming and hollering, it's too cold, too warm, we're gonna have to deal with it. And I just don't think we have the luxury of going back,
We
and
haven't-
they don't care.
We don't have enough money to cover everything, that's why the
That's-
air
that's
conditioner's
exactly
not
right.
getting fixed.
And you.
Donald had his hand first.
I'm sorry, and I'm sure I missed this when I walked out. Why exactly are we moving the pickleball courts? Why do they need to be moved?
They're gonna put more of them in.
Okay. So why not leave the two in place that are there and,
Because they're gonna fix the tennis courts.
okay.
And they get to spend $89,000.
I don't think we're getting our money's worth now.
No, you're not.
David Boaz, you had your hand raised?
I just wanna go back to something I said earlier in the meeting, says, just because it's in the budget, do we have to spend it? I'm sorry, I just don't.
It's the federal government concept, use it or lose it.
it, use it or lose it.
Well, going back to 2015 budget numbers, I think they're losing it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 750 grand don't belong in the budget.
Every time you go around that building, there's a truck there digging up, putting in, moving.
All beautiful stuff, but it doesn't do a thing to maintain the building.
When,
We got more
when you-
trees and bushes.
when you pay $6,000 to move a tree.
Yeah.
That's pretty messed up.
Or 16,000 to put up lights in an area nobody ever shows up.
Or anybody knew about was gonna go
So
up.
then we'll table this until the operations meeting? Fine. Yes, John?
All I'm saying is, until we get the air conditioners set, until she gets done knocking out walls and
That ought to stop too.
upgrading these rooms
That
with,
ought to stop too.
with all this
First
extra
priority is
stuff.
set the air conditioner in place to work. Then you can start doing what you want
Well,
to
that,
beautify the place.
that's true because it affects the largest number of people.
Everybody's
Big
affected
indoors
wherever
and
you are in the
whatever
building.
else, yeah. Pickleball affects 200 people, well, now we're talking about a sellout at 1,200 seats.
One day you go in there, the right-hand side of the building is cold, the left-hand side of the building's warm. Go in there the next day, it's just the
It's the
opposite.
opposite, yeah, because they're trying to modulate.
You go into the party room one night and it's like, damn, I need to take off some clothes. You go in the next night, you need a coat.
Okay, folks.
So how do we table this? Make a motion? Just not vote on it, or?
Just let it go.
Just let it go,
Well, there were some
I think you have to.
suggestions.
okay?
I'm just saying, our recommendation, we should forward a recommendation regarding this air conditioning thing. I don't know whether you wanna put it in here about coming back to the pre-chiller levels. We have to tell them that message has to be delivered somewhere.
At the meeting, it will be delivered.
Yes, John?
I say in that letter, we say, or whatever, we say, the budget, we're not gonna fund anything until we find out what we have to do to get the clubhouse straight once and for all.
And let's get the air conditioner fixed, not
Yeah.
just put more
Not
ice
not
cubes on the
just, not
tray.
piecemeal, but to fix it once and for all. We're not funding anything for WPRF except emergencies.
I agree.
David Boaz.
I also agree, but for the purpose of this meeting, I think we should have a motion to table this.
Exactly,
So made.
PRF.
right?
Yeah.
Motion to table.
Okay. You wanna say something like, we're tabling this for consideration of what we feel are higher priorities?
Yes,
Sure. That's a good way to put it.
excellent way to put it.
Right. Do you notice when you go in towards the clubhouse and you have to make a circle to drop somebody off? That it's like a jungle in that little section. Sometimes when you make the turn, you can't see anything.
That's right. I almost hit a person there one day. They just came out of nowhere and I said, they were walking in the street, you know, and
Yeah.
the bushes are there.
Is foliage overgrown?
Yeah, well, it's not overgrown, just
It's just
too
stacked
much of
in.
it, it just packed in
It's
there.
just overloaded.
It's
And the
over-
other day, there was a piece of equipment digging something out. I don't know what they were doing there.
That was the fire main people.
Yeah,
But
they were
it
getting,
was,
they're putting in a new fire hydrant.
Hydrants.
I just, she's got an inch, she puts a ton of stuff in there. I mean, it really is overloaded.
It's like, Finkel used to say, if it's green, put a high rise on it. And in our section, if it's green, put another tree there.
Yes.
I don't know, I don't believe I'm asking this question. Does WPRF have a cam?
Cruise.
Dan Cruz is a cam.
No, Dan Cruz.
I mean, it's not residential
is
property.
Chief of maintenance for Senrec.
He's
Yeah, I don't think
he's a
they
licensed
have.
cam.
It's a big job.
I don't think they have someone that's
You
listed.
think
as
he's a
cam.
licensed cam?
He was at some point, he did have a license, yeah. But he doesn't
I'd be-
manage
I'd be
residential
surprised
property
if
here.
it wasn't.
This is more of a facilities
I know he's an
situation.
electrical engineer.
Oh, yeah.
He's never explained whether he's a cameraman.
So shall we take a vote on the motion to table for higher priority projects?
Yes.
List, okay. David Israel,
Yes.
Ed Black,
Yes.
David Boaz.
Yes.
Stuart Richland.
Yes.
Diana Rose,
Yes.
Don Bonaji, yes. David Williams,
Yes.
John Gregg.
Yes.
Let it be said, so let it be written.
That's a quick meeting, 1 hour.
Well, I have one update for everyone, if that's all right.
Sure, go ahead.
What's this drainage project?
I wanted to update you on the North Drive extension.
Is that what this is?
Yeah.
The drainage project?
I'm on it right now.
Okay.
Okay. Last month you approved the engineering study to be done for North Drive extension. Just wanted to update you guys, we're about halfway through, the surveying is done and the engineer's now working on a final
This is the
plan.
jungle.
No,
No, it's a
no,
swale.
it's the North Drive extension, which is Avis's house and across the street from Avis's house.
Oh, yeah.
So we had a
And
swale
center.
increased on Avis's side, and then we still have problems on both sides.
Right, so the surveying and elevation work's done, he's working on a final plan now, I think by next month we'll have something to look at.
Gonna do something enclosed, in conduit or something, or?
Yeah, I think that's where he's headed. He's working, somehow drawing that water away into a storm drain. There was a question of whether it goes in both directions or only one direction.
Well, I think it's pitched toward Haverhill, so that's downhill.
Also, I'm sure you all saw the giant cave over at Walton E. Maybe not.
Yeah.
No,
There was a subsidence there, the road collapsed.
Is it? Oh, the one we saw that day?
Yeah, the one you and I went to. Turned out that Atlantic Broadband had punched a piece of conduit through I think a 48-inch corrugated drain pipe.
Hello, Charlie.
Hello,
Yeah.
Charlie. Yeah, so Charlie's having his guy yank the pipe out today.
They
Next
couldn't
week,
hear that though, could they, when they drilled through that? No one heard
They
that.
cracked it and then it broke it.
Yeah, they didn't do it till we got low enough we could see the hole.
I don't even think they would feel that. It just punches right through. But anyway, we have nice pictures and video. Once he yanks that piece out and runs the conduit, then Anchor Marine will come in and make the repair.
Good.
And obviously, we'll be going after Atlantic Broadband for the cost.
Unbelievable.
Do you get a feeling that they're boring with their fingers crossed?
Yes.
oh, of
doing
course.
this.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because they don't know where anything
What's that
is.
funny sound?
And I brought this up, and that Charlie, he exudes that good old boy confidence level. But I don't think they're doing locates properly. If you can't find a 4-foot diameter drain full of water, and you fire an explosive bolt right through it, you should see the picture.
Yeah, I saw it.
I'm sorry, I should have brought it. We could have put it up on the.
Just beyond belief.
Well, we had the same thing with Florida Power and Light when they drilled through Bedford
They
H.
bitch and bitch and bitch. It must
And
piss
both
off, so
thought
they
it
went
was
down into it.
Yuko's job to fix his drain hole. Turned out Florida Power and Light came out to fix it as soon as he complained to them.
Dave, if I get that SD card, will it work here up on there?
Wait, I'm sure probably everybody saw it, I know, I saw the picture.
Yeah,
Everybody
We
all-
got video.
but
It's like Jacques
it's
Cousteau.
not a magic wand, would take a few minutes, you
All
don't
right.
wanna be sitting around, but we can set it up,
Yeah, all right, maybe for
we can
officers.
set it up.
Okay.
We have a little player, little multi-plug, so if you wanna do that, but not in the middle of the meeting.
All right. It's like watching Jacques Cousteau, but in the sewer.
Put it on your laptop and then plug the laptop into the HDMI.
If you just want a still, it's in the database.
Yeah.
And the still is really, it's terrific.
One of the,
You just see this 4-inch pipe right through the drain.
One of the things I took out of this video, and you guys can all come to my office and watch if you want, from an infrastructure standpoint, where he went in, which is furthest from the lake, besides the two holes, the pipe looks like it's brand new. And as you get closer and closer to the lake, you see more and more corrosion, silt, snails, fish, and you could just see that the rot comes from the lake in.
Yeah, when we did Borden and Bath, we had fish at the bottom of
It's
the
incredible.
manhole.
Yeah, you could have fished right there.
And I
Just
think,
out of curiosity, have we any reports on fence jumpers and photographs of them recently?
not recently, but I think we did have a fence jumper over by the Haverhill entrance, because I found a piece of top rail busted out. It seemed to me that someone was hopping up on the masonry wall and then stepping on the top rail and popping
Jumping up,
down.
okay.
So we're gonna take care of that as well.
What are they
It's very restrictive right now, for whatever reason, we're not getting a lot of jumpers.
What are they doing out there on Haverhill? Is that,
Maybe they're afraid of the wild
There's-
animals.
That's
There's
fiber.
cameras all
Yeah,
over.
that's an extension from,
Yeah, now that's fiber conduit being put along that swale. By the way, they hit an irrigation line last night. But I don't think they work for us. I don't think that's,
no, that's part of down the road, Cypress Lakes.
I don't,
They're getting an upgrade in their,
I don't think that was Atlantic Broadband contract is working, so I don't know who belongs to that. I'll find out, but I don't know at this
I
point.
think it's Comcast.
You think?
They're going to
Oh,
Comcast,
okay.
I believe.
No, Cypress Lakes went Atlantic Broadband,
Did they go Atlantic?
Oh, yeah.
So it could have been a different team, same company.
but it's the same conduit that they're installing here, just an outfit I never saw before.
And they're making sure they aim for the pipes like everybody else.
Yeah, they hit our irrigation line last night. I got a call from Vince at 4 a.m.
4 in the morning? You
He
gotta
likes
be
to
kidding.
get him up so he gets his breakfast before 5.
Now Vince is a sweetheart. He won't bang on my door. He'll just park and then run the lights, and one of us will open up and say Vince is here.
In spite of all these breaks that we're having, are we getting any closer to getting a scheme of what's underground? No.
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 I mean, if somebody's keeping a record, I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, so when we got a promise from Seacrest Landscapers that they would dig up the,
Yeah,
Well, they busted a water main.
don't hold
The other
your
it
breath.
never happened, yeah.
I make the polite reminder now and again, and when we have our 3-month review, that'll definitely be discussed.
High on the
But
list.
I do have to say they are doing a nicer job.
Holy mackerel, yeah, night and day.
I think they do a great job of
Oh,
cleaning
yeah,
up the areas.
well,
and so
the
forth.
biggest thing I noticed is the hedges are down
Oh,
low enough
yeah.
so that you can see over them.
And those they couldn't cut lower, they just ripped out the place.
The thing I'm most appreciative of is they're raking out these ring road hedges every
Exactly.
time, which means when there's a heavy rain, it's less having to clear storm drains. Because when the other vendor wouldn't do it, that litter would come up like a raft and just come and set itself right on the storm drain.
Yeah,
So-
they really are much
There's
more
a-
meticulous.
There's a negative issue with that too, because when you cut it down, then the growth is retarded.
Oh, yeah.
And the growth, I'm not talking about height, but I'm talking about fullness.
Sure.
And what you're left with is woody stems coming out of the
Yeah,
ground.
Yeah.
And that in itself is ugly, and we're gonna have to rip all of that out and put something else in there of a different type, so you can cut it down, but it doesn't impact the lower part of it, and it's a one-shot deal. Once you do that, what you do is keep on trimming the top, and the bottom part, the woody legs are never changed. I mean, they stay the same size.
Sure.
And it's just the idea of having the right colors So it makes, eye appeal or something, as they call it,
I mean, we ended up here, Stuart, putting low flowers to hide that very thing.
Yeah.
Those thick woody.
but it's throwing good money after bad, because you're gonna have to rip it out anyway.
In the case of,
There's nothing super distinctive about it anyway, it's just green and variegated plants and.
in the case of right across the street, the median, we needed to get the shrubs so low to be able to be safe that it just made more sense to yank them all together and plant new, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
Very well.
We didn't see much blossoming in the hibiscus on Century Boulevard coming in.
Oh, you notice how much better they are?
Yeah,
They
well,
fed
they're
them,
full.
yeah, oh yeah, and all those yellow leaves are gone, they're coming back.
Not, this is not a negative comment, it's just an observation. But I was sitting there watching our chairman of the beautification committee salivating with that $60,000 budget. He could see it drool where she's gonna start spending it. Like you said, you got it, you're gonna spend it.
Yeah.
I'm not too happy with
I
that. I mean,
think, I think after a meeting, we made it clear to her that she has to give Ed a sheet of paper justifying what are her
Of
projects.
course, yeah, the beautification is important too, because that's.
Not just gonna throw 60
Yeah, they
K.
just
You can't have everybody asking for 60 grand and not saying what to spend the money on.
To justify it.
I mean, I told them at the meeting, the first step would be to identify 3 or 4 key projects and decide where you wanna be, and then go from there.
And estimate what they cost.
And it's not a slam dunk that our landscaping contractor's gonna get the job, we're gonna bid it out.
John?
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Yes, you can, but we're not gonna.
We're just gonna hang around.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna watch the sewer movie now.
Are we adjourned?
Evidently, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, are you gonna
Thank you.
show the sewer movie?
Yeah, wanna watch the sewer movie?
sure, it's better than what's on television right now.
Are you saying it's all crap?
That's what it is. You see the commercials for some of the new shows coming up? Not only are they violent, but they're gross.